Hello, I'm Todd Jones, host of Press Box Access, a podcast in which I talk with veteran sports writers about highlights from their careers. Can you imagine seeing Secretariat win the Belmont Stakes by 31 lengths? Dave Kindred did, and he wrote a lot about the great thoroughbred. In this clip, Kindred shares some memories of the mythical Secretariat.
Kentucky, of course, is also known for horse racing, for thoroughbreds. And you covered more than 40 Kentucky Derbies. But there's one particular horse and one particular moment that I wanted to ask you specifically about. You covered so many great Triple Crown races, but you were there in 1973 at the Belmont in New York when Secretariat won by an astounding 31 lengths. It's almost incomprehensible, even when you see film of it now. But for somebody who was there at the park, what do you recall about that magical performance by perhaps the greatest horse ever, Secretariat?
Well, that was I worked for a year in the Courier Journal's Washington, and that was my time there. Been here, and you'd go back to Louisville. But I was close to New York. They sent me to New York to cover the Belmont. I had missed Secretariat in the Derby and the Preakness, but they sent me to Belmont. And the amazing thing, Todd, is that if you check the time on that race, Secretariat ran every quarter of a 1.5-mile race faster than the previous quarter.
Wow.
Which in horse racing is just like impossible. Everybody slows down. He didn't slow down. And it was clear when he came around the last turn, he wasn't slowing down. Turcotte, the rider, was looking back to see where everybody was.
Yeah, that's a great photo.
Pulling away. It was, the first Triple Crown winner in 25 years, first one since Citation. And the thing I remember about it, excuse my language here again, but I was standing to Joe Falls, who was the comp of Detroit, as Secretariat went under the line. Falls elbowed me, patient my ass, because we had just seen what I wrote that day. It was the greatest horse race of all time. Mm-hmm. The editors back in Louisville, I think I don't know what they were trying to do. I had called it the greatest horse race of all time. An editor in Louisville decided it was one of the greatest horse races of all time. Can't be declared.
Secretariat, Secretariat's a horse, right? And we don't think of horses as athletes necessarily, but that performance really showed that, yes, indeed, this is a special athlete. Why was Secretariat so special? What do you treasure about being able to witness that performance?
Well, one of the great facts about Secretariat is when he died, the autopsy, they remove a horse's heart. Secretariat's heart was like 1.5 times bigger than the normal horse's heart, which accounted for some of the stamina, some of the speed. And it reminds the great Paul of that race, I think with Chick Anderson, that Secretariat was coming like a machine coming around the track. It was Secretariat first was just beautiful, with a beautiful horse, beautiful chestnut, 3 white feet. It was a beautiful horse and just in motion. Anything in motion tends to have a beauty of its own, and Secretariat certainly was that. Again, to name another Ohio guy, Cy Burek.
Mm-hmm. Dayton, yeah.
Mentors. He's an old guy when I was first starting, and he wrote about Secretariat once, and he said the great thing about Secretariat is that he has all of his hair. He says Secretariat and I are just alike, except he has all his hair and his entire sex life is in front of him.
He actually wrote that?
Yes.